Welcome to installing eyelets and grommets with hand tools part 2 from Chair and Chisel. You can visit us at www.chairandchisel.com for any of the tools and supplies shown in this video. So first off, you're going to want to punch your holes. You can do this a number of different ways. Here I'm using a manual hole punch. You put the sharp end against your material and you hammer the back of the tool. You can pull it out and you've got a nice clean hole. I am hammering this on top of a rubber pando mat and a marble slab. Another way you can do it is by using a rotary punch. I'm using a piece of cardboard under here. Place your leather on top of the cardboard and punch through the fabric. The cardboard isn't necessary for a lot of leathers, but it's really helpful for things like fabric and more pliable materials, anything woven, biothing, things like that, to get a nice clean hole. Last way you can do it is with the awl. This works for smaller holes and is great for fabric because it does not break the fibers like a regular hole punch would. So here's an example of some duck canvas. I'm going to make a hole in it and you just push it through. Alrighty, so next we are going to punch a couple more holes. Going to do a couple examples here. I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch me punch holes for 30 minutes. But now that we've got our holes, we're ready to go, and I'm going to show you a number of different eyelet tools. They look different depending on the size of the tool, but they all work pretty much the same. So we're going to grab our eyelets with our first tool. These eyelets have washers, so with a washer they're called grommets, and you can use them with or without. I'll do an example of each. So we're going to take our eyelet, alright, and we're going to push it through the leather so the rim face is on the face part of the leather, and we're going to put that face down onto the stick, so the tube's facing up, and you're going to put the little setting tool, there's a hole on it that goes onto that little post there, and we're going to hammer the back, rolling the rim of the eyelet onto the leather. So you can see here that it is without a washer. It's a rolled rim and it is secured onto the leather. Now, same size eyelet, we're going to do another example, this time with a washer, so it's going to be a grommet, face down on the anvil. Take your washer and place it onto the back of the eyelet tube, and again put your stick on the stick and hammer down until your rim of your tube has rolled over and set your eyelet, and it gives you a nice finished look. Alright, next we are going to go with a different size eyelet. The setup for this is going to look a little bit different, but it operates exactly the same way. So I'm going to put my eyelet into my leather, get out my tools. Okay, so this has a anvil base. I was showing the numbers on the tool that can tell you what size tool it is. Again, put your eyelet in. It's going to go face down, alright, and it needs to fit nice onto that little donut rim. It should fit exactly right. Stick the tool into the tube, and we're going to hammer down until it is set. I usually start lighter and then kind of pick up in my pressure, and sometimes I'll move the tool around kind of in a slight circular motion when I'm hammering, just to make sure the rim is all nice and even. And there we've got a nice set washer, or set eyelet. That is 8mm size I did right there. Okay. Next, these things are insanely tiny. These are 1mm eyelets. I don't know how you guys work with them. They're so small, it's hard to hold on to. But you guys make some amazing stuff with it. So we've got this tiny little anvil. It does have this tiny little depression. The 1mm are really difficult because they are so small that you kind of really have to make sure they're in the right place. So set those face down. just like you did the others, you're going to take this tiny little tool, make sure you're getting inside of the tube of the eyelet with the little nub on the end, and that you're centered onto that anvil base. And then again, we're going to hammer. I try to go real light with these starting out and then increase in speed just to make sure that they stay centered. So there's this micro tiny eyelet. Alrighty. Excellent. So next I'm going to do another eyelet and show you a different type of tool. We'll have a regular set eyelet and a flowering eyelet. So let's see, let's put the eyelet in. We've got our anvil base. We're going to first do one the regular way. So this is a 6mm eyelet I'm doing here. Again, hammer the back, set it just like we did the others. Just because the tools look a little different, they still operate the exact same way. Alright, so that's just a rolled rim, 6mm eyelet set. And then we have what's called a flowering eyelet tool, which has serrations on the bottom of the tool that's actually going to split the tool, or split the eyelet on the back and make it kind of peen over and claw into the leather itself. So there's no anvil needed for this one. This is one that is different and that doesn't have an anvil, and those little teeth on it are going to serrate the eyelet and flower it out. This is good for stretching materials and things that just need a little bit more grip to them. It does take a little bit more focus doing these, just to make sure you've got a nice even rim. So I usually check mine as I'm starting to peen it and make sure that everything's serrating nicely like I want it to. And you'll see once I'm done here, it will, the eyelet tube will have actually turned into what looks like a flower from the serrations. So there you go, you can see the little flowering, it's done. It's set on the front, and it is now good to go. You're wondering, I'm using leather here, can you use this with other materials? Yes, you can. So here's a piece of duck cloth. It's like a canvas-like material. Sorry, I'm a little out of shot there, but doing a 4mm eyelet in this. Put our eyelet in, face down on the canvas. Given that this is a cloth, I am going to want to use a washer with this. So put the washer on the back. It's important to make sure that your eyelet tube length is appropriate for your material. If it is too long, you can get deformation in the eyelet itself. And if it's too short, you won't be able to actually peen it over well enough to secure your eyelet in. So there we go. If you're able to get a nice clean look like that, you've got the right size. So thank you for watching, and feel free to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed and this was helpful.